What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? I hope you're ready for some football talk because this week we're breaking down exactly how Kansas City can take down the Ravens. Before we dive into Baltimore, though, let's take a step back and look at last week's game against the Giants. It's important to understand the lessons from that matchup because they give us a blueprint for success this Sunday. One thing that stood out last week was how the Chiefs kept it simple. They didn't try to force plays or make everything flashy. They understood the game they were in, and that's something we've seen before, but it's worth appreciating. When the Chiefs had the opportunity to take points, they did it. They kicked field goals when it made sense, and even on 4th and 1 from around midfield, they punted instead of risking giving the Giants momentum. That's smart football, plain and simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate things as fans, but the Chiefs coaching staff showed they know how to win a game without needing to throw bombs on every drive. Contrast that with the Eagles game a week earlier, where the team seemed desperate. They were trying to get every first down, score on every possession, and it led to mistakes. Against the Giants, though, they played within themselves. Their leadership made the right calls, and the players executed. That's exactly the kind of mindset that can carry over into this week against Baltimore. You don't need to force a win. You just need to do the fundamentals, right? Good decision-making, disciplined play, and understanding the flow of the game. Now, this isn't to say the Chiefs won't need to be a bit more aggressive against the Ravens, but the lesson from last week is clear. Don't overcomplicate it. Play smart, stick to the plan, and let the players make it happen. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Chiefs played smart last week against the Giants, or do you wish they had been more aggressive in certain situations? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, hit that like button if you appreciate this kind of detailed breakdown, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our game previews and predictions. Trust me, you don't want to be the fan scrambling for insights on Sunday morning. All right, Chiefs fans, now it's time to talk about Baltimore's defense because this is where Kansas City can really take control of the game. The Ravens are coming into Arrowhead with a defense that's struggling, really struggling. We're talking about multiple key players missing, injuries across the defensive line, outside linebacker, and even their secondary. Let's break it down. Michael Pierce, who has long been a cornerstone of their defensive line and a proven run stopper, is no longer with the team. That's a huge gap in their front seven. On top of that, players like Travis Jones, Nnamdi Matabuk, and Brick Washington have all been injured and either limited or completely absent in practice. Nnamdi Madab is out for the foreseeable future with a neck injury, and that's a player the Ravens can't replace easily. But it doesn't stop there. At outside linebacker, they're missing Kyle Vanner and their secondary has taken hits too. Ardarius Washington ruptured his Achilles during the offseason, and Gear Alexander has knee issues he's still working through. When you put all that together, it creates cracks in the foundation of their defense. That's why they're 30th in rushing yards allowed and 31st in passing yards allowed. Even against teams that aren't considered offensive powerhouses, like Cleveland, they've allowed more points than expected. When you compare that to the Chiefs, who are missing Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, it's clear that Kansas City actually has the advantage here. Their offense may be a bit thinner at receiver, but the Ravens' defense is far from the dominant unit we've seen in past years. This gives the Chiefs an opportunity to really control the game if they execute properly. They can attack the weak points, whether that's running behind the interior offensive line or exploiting mismatches in the passing game. Hollywood Brown will need to be accounted for, but beyond him, there's room to take advantage of injuries and create big plays. Chiefs fans, I want to ask you this. Do you expect a high-scoring game because of the Ravens' defensive struggles, or do you think KC will keep it methodical and grind out the win? Drop your predictions in the comments. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you think the Chiefs' offense is going to exploit these weaknesses, and subscribe for all the injury updates and strategic breakdowns you won't find anywhere else. Now that we've looked at the Ravens' defensive struggles, let's shift our focus to how the Chiefs' defense can neutralize Baltimore's biggest weapons. Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry. This game is going to be all about discipline. Spagnuolo's defensive philosophy relies on players maintaining their gap responsibilities and staying strong at the point of attack. That's exactly what Kansas City needs to stop Henry from running wild and prevent Jackson from making explosive plays with his legs. It's not about flashy speed rushes or big stunts. It's about fundamentals, tackling low, maintaining leverage, and not letting either of these playmakers get to full speed. Stopping Derrick Henry requires careful attention to the gaps. If you let him build momentum, he can punish a defense in ways that are almost unstoppable. The Chiefs need to ensure that every linebacker and defensive lineman knows exactly where they need to be on every snap. And it's not just Henry. Jackson is one of the fastest, most elusive quarterbacks in the league. He thrives when defenses overcommit or leave lanes open. By playing disciplined football and keeping the defensive structure intact, Kansas City can force the Ravens to become one-dimensional. If Baltimore has to abandon the run and rely heavily on Jackson's arm, the Chiefs' secondary can make them pay. This matchup is especially favorable because the Ravens' injuries have weakened their defensive line and their ability to pressure the quarterback. That means KC can stay aggressive and focus on shutting down the running game without fearing a breakdown in coverage. Chiefs fans, here's a question for you. Do you think our defense can completely shut down Henry, or will he find some way to make a few big plays? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you believe in this Chiefs defensive unit and think they'll control the trenches, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns like this. Trust me, knowing these details before game day can give you a huge edge in discussions with fellow fans. Now let's switch over to the Chiefs' offense and how they can take advantage of Baltimore's weakened defense. With key defensive linemen out, Kansas City has a real opportunity to control the game on the ground. The interior of the offensive line, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and the tackles can become a weapon. Even though we don't often see Patrick Mahomes under center, lining up in an I formation and running behind the strength of this offensive line can open up consistent yardage. Bashard Smith, Pacheco, and Kareem Hunt can all see meaningful touches, and with smart play calling, the Chiefs can exploit gaps left by the Ravens' injured defensive front. Establishing the run has a couple of benefits. First, it allows the Chiefs to control the clock and tempo, keeping Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' offense off the field. Second, it forces the Ravens to commit defenders to stopping the run, which opens up passing opportunities. Even with injuries to top receivers Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, the Chiefs have options. Hollywood Brown should see plenty of opportunities, and Tyquan Thornton could emerge as a legitimate threat. While Thornton might not have been a favorite early in the season, he has the skills to contribute and take pressure off other offensive weapons. This is a chance to turn a challenge into an advantage by forcing the Ravens to account for one more player in the passing game. Chiefs fans, I want to hear from you. Do you think the run game will dominate this matchup, or should Mahomes be looking to air it out more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while you're thinking about that, don't forget to like the video if you agree that establishing the run will be key to victory, and subscribe to Total Chiefs News for more insights like this. Understanding these strategic moves before kickoff can make you the most informed fan in your group chat. Kansas City has the tools to dominate, and it's all about executing the fundamentals with smart aggression. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, it's time to wrap things up and make our prediction for this matchup. After breaking down both sides, it's clear that Kansas City has the edge, even with injuries to Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. The Ravens are the team struggling with personnel, especially on defense, and that's going to be a major factor on Sunday. The Chiefs' defense, disciplined and gap-conscious, should be able to contain Derrick Henry and limit Lamar Jackson's options. Meanwhile, the offensive line can establish the run, create chunk plays, and open up opportunities for Mahomes to throw without needing to force things downfield. I'm predicting a Chiefs victory, 27-20. The Ravens will have to rely on a spectacular performance from Lamar Jackson to make this game close, and honestly, I don't see that happening at Arrowhead. Kansas City has too many advantages in matchups, strategy, and depth in the right areas. If the Chiefs execute their plan, mind the gaps on defense, control the line of scrimmage on offense, and keep it simple but aggressive, they walk away with a win. Fans, this is also a game to watch new players step up. Taquin Thornton could be a hidden weapon, and the running backs have a chance to show they can dominate against a shaky front seven. Now it's your turn. What's your score prediction? Who do you think will be the MVP? Drop it all in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button if you agree with this breakdown, and subscribe to Total Chiefs News to stay up to date with all the latest previews, injuries, and analysis. Trust me, this channel is your go-to spot to be fully prepared before every Chiefs game. Thanks for sticking with me through this breakdown. Let's enjoy the game Chiefs Kingdom and hope for a big win at Arrowhead. See you after the game for post-game analysis and highlights.